would also say to the Minister that civil partnership has practically all of the rights. I mean, the reason that I opposed the civil partnership model, as I said, at second stage, and as I said when it came up in 2010, was because it was absolutely analogous to marriage. You tell me one substantive difference, Minister, that this change will make for people who are in gay relationships. One substantive difference between civil partnership and what you're proposing, other than the fact that it will be in the Constitution, which could be done by including civil partnership in the Constitution. I take a different view, and I've given reasons why I'm motivated to take the position I do. I do think that same-sex relationships, by virtue of nature and biology, will always be different. Will always be different. But they should be respected in their own right. The obvious natural differences, which I said earlier, will endure regardless of redefining marriage. And this is fundamental redefinition of marriage, regardless of what the Minister says. The complementarity of male and female, procreation, as a couple consummating marriage, that's a distinction, in my opinion, a fundamental distinction that will not change. So there are absolute, fundamental, natural, biological differences between the relationships, not between individuals. And it's in the area of individuals that equality should apply. But here we're talking about relationships. I do have a concern, and I don't really want to set red herrings running in the debate, but we all know, and I take what you say about ideology as well, we all come with our own ideological thought in relation to it. But there is, and I have noticed, a very strong, well-resourced, well-funded and aggressive, what I would call radical feminist agenda, international, probably emanated in the States. And it's amazing, I talk to feminists in the US who are strongly pro-life, and they tell me that back the early part of the last century, women there, and it was from there, I think, that era, that feminism came about, and came about for very good reasons, because women were seriously disadvantaged in all societies, including these islands. But those feminists at that time championed the right to life. They don't do now. Radical feminists now are mostly in favour of abortion, even gendercide, as I said earlier. And at that time they were also very strongly opposed to slavery. Quite interesting. So I think ideologies need to be challenged.
Please, because this is more like
whether it's my ideology.
That's a matter for the chair, not a point of order.
Whether it's my ideology or somebody else's ideology, they always need to be challenged. We do, and I endeavour to do this myself in this regard. So nothing will change the natural biological differences. But my concern is that by doing what we're doing, we'll have a fundamental effect on children and their prospects going forward, and I've identified those, and I'm not going to repeat it. Can I just say to you, Minister, that this government has shown scant regard, in my opinion, for the democratic institutions of a republic. The routine guillotining of bills in the lower house, and indeed in this house, without adequate debate, and I have to say it's unprecedented in this house. You were here as a distinguished leader of the opposition in the last term. I think there was only one bill I can recall during the term that was guillotined. It's a routine feature here and in the lower house. The dismantling of the democratic institutions, rather than a failure to reform and improve those institutions and our systems to better serve the people's interest. The abolition of town councils, the attempt to abolish this House, Janet Aaron, and now, Minister, the ultimate betrayal of our constitutional requirement to be fair and balanced in respecting the independent voice of people in a referendum. Not good enough, in my opinion. Could I just ask the Minister, you didn't respond at all to the question I put with regard to the issue of consummation of marriage. There are people who go for annulment in particular, who won't, go for divorce because of religious beliefs. And there is a situation in this where they can get annulments on the grounds of non-consummation of marriage, will it be affected? And that's what I'm asking. Will it be affected by this change? And if so, in what way will it be affected? Because it does strike me that it has to have implications for it.
Do you wish to add anything further, Minister? Okay. Well,
Can I just come back in on that?
the Minister has the right to reply, and she says she has nothing further to add, so you can't compel her to respond.
No, I'm not going to compel her. Yeah. Can I say it's appalling that an important, pertinent question to the subject matter before us, the Minister does not have a response to.